Pretty much every single algorithm that I've ever built follows the same 6-step process. I call it the system method. Today, you're in for a treat. I'm going to walk you through all 6 live. I'm building a trading algorithm from absolute zero, right in front of you. No code, no shortcuts, no cherry-picked back tests. If it passes all 6 steps, I'm going to upload it to the community live on camera. If it fails, you'll see that too. Let's get into it. But first, what is the system method? It's a 6-step process to turn your trading strategy into an automated trading bot. For profitable traders who want to stop watching the charts and just let their systems run without them. This is the 6-step system method. It's for profitable traders that want to turn their manual trading system into an automated trading bot. If you want this 6-step process also, I'm going to leave a link for it below so that you can download it and go through exactly how we build this system. So you already know how to trade. I'm just going to scroll through and define what we'll be working on today. Firstly, we have strategy idea. First, we have to work on our strategy idea, and we're going to be focusing on the ICT's Open Range Breakout. Before we start though, let me show you why this method works. This is my live verified track record. You can view this for yourself. I'll leave the link below. You can analyze my trading account. This is verified trading account, real money, real broker, no demo accounts. And over the last 7 months, I've been able to produce 405% returns over that time period. Absolutely colossal, absolutely insane. I went from roughly 10,000th place on Darwin to the top 5 in only 4 months. That's unheard of. And not by sitting at the charts all day. I didn't actually execute a single trade. It was all fully automated. And the way I build my strategies and algorithms is using this exact same 6-step system method that I developed. The first step is S, which is the strategy idea. We have our strategy idea, which is the ICT Open Range Breakout. The second step is the yield logic. This is where we actually turn our idea from a concept and we start to transform that into our no-coding platform that develops these algorithms that can then trade on the charts, and we can see whether it has a viable edge or not. We'll go over the stress testing, which is the S. Stress testing, so we go through a back test. We validate against years of real data. Does this system actually have a viable edge that we can do something with? We do a threshold check, which is our monkey test for robustness across different conditions, making sure that it is a robust system that actually works. There's a lot of fluff and bullshit out there, and I don't plan on just like showing you shit. So I don't know if this system works or not. I haven't gone through it fully. I've built it. I've developed it. I don't know if this system actually works. So it's going to be a first for both of us to be able to develop this system and then to backtest and go, okay, does ICT's Open Range Breakout actually have a viable edge, or is it just full of shit? Most strategies that I do build from gurus and influencers are actually garbage. We'll evaluate our trading. We won't evaluate live on camera. We won't evaluate it due to the fact that it takes 3 months for my evaluation process to see whether it actually holds up within the markets. And then we have our M, which is master and deploy. So within Next Gen Algo, we actually go into all of these. I'm actually pretty pumped for this. I've never done this before yet. So this is going to be our very first build. We'll probably do more and more. So check out my profile. We'll try and do one of these once per month. We're focusing on the ICT range breakout. We'll use our system method, the 6-step system method in this video. So you'll get a pretty good idea of how we operate at Next Gen Algo. And you'll actually get you'll be able to work with us on a separate screen and probably build it yourself, which is really, really cool. So you'll also be able to walk away with the ICT Open Range Breakout system. Now, focusing on S, which is our strategy idea. Our strategy idea is the ICT Open Range Breakout. We're focusing on the 10 to 1030 range. So this is an example here. And we want to store the high and the low holding this range between 10 to 1030. We want a clear breakout. Now this needs to have no wicks between here and our low here, so that we have a break and then we want to have a retest of that point. The retest needs to be a wick. We need to have the high of this candle above this low point here. And then we want price to close below that low to show the rejection, showing that price actually wants to move away and potentially head for shorts. We'll do the exact same for the opposite side. So price breaking up, retesting this line, and then continuation. We can build this we can build this a few ways. This is the way we're going to focus on today. So we're going to focus on this time frame range, this particular system, but you can actually just take the system on a sell straight out of that range if you wanted to. You'll be able to do that yourself within the platform. When we're building it, you'll be able to follow along and test that for yourself. So let's jump over to step 2, which is yield logic and building. So this is FX Dreamer. This is our no coding platform. And the way it works is we grab these blocks here and we put in conditions. So we actually don't have to learn how to code. I talked to a few developers when I was learning how to develop algorithms and code. And the funny thing that we both realized was the ones that were coding were just copying and pasting a lot of their previous code into their algorithms. And it's essentially the same thing. So each one of these blocks just have a piece of code in it that you can copy and paste, but we just don't do the coding. We don't really need to code anymore. We have this system. Coding it would probably take much, much longer, and this video would probably go for hours and hours. So hopefully by the end of this video, this process should probably take about an hour. We build out a full strategy in an hour. Some systems I can build them in 15 minutes. Some systems might take me, 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on the complexity of it. If we're trying to find older values, we're looping, we're finding previous highs and lows. Perhaps we're trying to look for supply and demand, maybe support and resistance. Those kind of strategies have a lot more nuance in them. But this is very, very basic stuff. So I'm pretty keen to do this. ICT Open Range Breakout. Let's get into it. Now, because we are doing the London ICT Open Range Breakout, we need to store the London high as well as the London low. There's a few more other variables in here that we'll also need, which is like a buy gate, a sell gate for the sell side. So S gate. And trades per day, because we only want to take a limited amount of trades. We might add some more variables to this a little bit later. For the constants, we're going to have 3 different constants, which is the ATRM. We're going to use the ATR multiplier. Profit target, so we can adjust this within the MT5 and see what risk to reward makes the most sense. The ATRM, we're just going to start it at 1.5. Our profit target is a 1-to-1. That'll show up in the system method. It's actually a part of our method, which is seeing if it's a viable edge based on a 1-to-1. And our risk per trade, we only want to risk 1%. I don't risk any more than 1% on any of my systems. To be honest, I like to risk less than 1%. I often like to risk like 0.33%. That's just a part of our risk profile. We want to reduce as much risk as we can while keeping the upsides. So the first block we need to do, as we said before, we need to find our London time frame. So London time frame. And because we're saving the high and low from 10:30 to 10 to 10:30, we probably want to execute this at 10:31. So 1 minute post finding those highs and lows. And we only need to find it once. So we can actually just go from 10:30 to 10:32. So this block will probably only run a couple of times finding these ranges. Once per bar. We add that one, so the time frame kicks in. Our modified variable is what's next, because this now stores our London high and our London low. And the way we do this is we look at the market properties. We want highest price time period for the London high. This is from 10 to 10:30. And the London lows the exact same. So we want market properties, lowest price candles period, time period. See how simple it is to build these systems? It's crazy. It's crazy that more people aren't doing this, because then you can validate your edge. So we're storing these values now from 10 to 1030. We've then completed that. But what you need to do also that a lot of people completely miss factor is we need to reset those values so it finds them every single day. And the way we do that is we get a time filter. We find our values, so our London high and our London low, and we revert them back to 0, because if you just have them at that number, they only find the value once. And because price is continually moving, you want to be able to reset that to find the new values for that new day. So that's really crucial, something that many people miss. And we'll just reset. We'll just call that a reset. Also, something I just want to show right now is something that we often do within NextGen Algo is we like to visually see everything on the chart, because there's no point in having like something going on and you're just like, well, what is really happening? So we want to store those values, the London high, and we're going to do that in 2 ways. I like to use the ugly comment, but also draw lines. So the ugly comment essentially just shows your, it just shows the values on the screen so that you can actually track them and go, does this make sense? Is it doing what it's supposed to? So London high, we'll put that one in, and we just store that value of the London high. The same here, we'll store this value of the London low. We'll close this. London low. And the lines we're going to draw, so now that this comment block is completed, we'll actually do a test run and I'll show you how this works. Range breakout build. Now there's a couple of things that we want to store here. We have a vertical line and a horizontal line. So on the chart for the horizontal, we want our London high and London low. But for the vertical ones, I actually want to put when the time starts, so 10 to 10:30. I want to visually see it on the chart. So vertical, we want the time. We want the time value. Time stamp, sorry. This will be the 10 o'clock, and we'll make this green for like go, for that's the start. This will be the same vertical line, time stamp 10:30, and we'll make this red because then that's the end of that session. And instead of solid, I actually might do a dotted line. Dotted line. And then from that, so each one of these also, like the connectors, like this is no and this is yes. So if it's like true, 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 it's like a traffic light system. So that's completed. We want a horizontal line now. And the value that we're going to use is obviously our London high. Horizontal line, we want value, and the London low. Also, if you draw lines on a chart, you want to delete them. So we take a delete chart objects, and we'll do that at the same time as the reset. Also, the reset time. Because we're finding our values at 10:31, we can actually just do this at 9 to 9:01. So it'll just be the hour before. It'll delete all of these lines off the chart. It'll reset our comment and our modified variable. So let's test this out and see how it looks. Now your build's going to be completely different to mine because I have high quality tick data. I don't just use like random data that I don't just use the random data that they supply. It's not trustworthy, so I don't recommend you do it. If you want high quality tick data, it's going to set you back probably about $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. We supply all of that within the community. You get probably 30 to 40 pairs, FX, commodities, crypto, indices, we chuck it all in there. So it saves you a few $1,000, and then you can just use ours. And that way we all have the same data. We know it works because my systems work. Let's just visually see this. So we're not executing anything. We just want to make sure that we're finding our values. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, we have our range here. So it's on a 15-minute. So this here is the 10. Oh, let me move this up. Let me move this down. Let me move me out of the way. There. So we're storing this value here, which is the high and the low, right? Up in the top left-hand corner, we can see London high 119.006, London low 118.703. Green line is the start, red line is the end. Now, because we're running this on the 15-minute, and then we should see them delete. There we go. They delete 1 hour before, and we find our new values. If we drop down to the 5-minute chart, this will be more apparent and more clear. Here we go. Yeah, beautiful. So we can see we're storing this high, we're storing this value low. This is the line from 10. Oh, I'm in the way again, aren't I? I'm in the way. So running again, we have our high, we have our low stored, we have our start time and our end time. And we can just play this through. It removes, and then we store our new values again. So we have our high, we have our low, we have our start, and we have our finish, and we're breaking out of that range. So we have our pretty much our breakout, but we need to now use these values to be able to, okay, we want to break out. How do we communicate that? And we want to store the low, retest, and then continuation, essentially. We're going to, just because we're focused on London high and London low, you can actually manipulate this and use it for the New York Open. You can do the Asian session also. So you follow along. We might build those separately in different tutorials. So far, the whole process and the whole point of that was just to make sure, so the whole point of that process was just to make sure that it worked. Let me shift me back over here. So these are now complete. They look good. I'm happy for that. We might even put those in an area. And we'll name this area Finding Ranges and Finding Ranges, Reset, and Deleting Chart Objects. Sweet. I like to label all of these things. It makes it look clean. It makes it look nice. And you can, when you come back and look at your old builds, you can make sense of them a lot quicker. So understanding this strategy now, we've stored this high. We've stored this high. We've stored this low. We need to focus on this breakout section now. So the way we do that, and we'll just focus only on the sell sides first, and then we'll watch it in the chart visually, make sure it works correctly, and then we'll focus on that upside also. So step 1 is done. We'll use another time block because this is going to be the sell side, right? This will also operate at that 1031 because we've already found our values, and then pretty much as soon as we've found our values, we can start executing on trades. I don't know how long you want to have your window of opportunity for. Let's start with, because it's a lower time frame system, let's start with 1 hour. How about 1 hour? Let's go 12. Let's go 12:30. That gives it enough time to break out and retest. If it doesn't happen in that time frame, then it probably will not happen, and the market dynamics might change. Once per bar after that. Now this is a little bit of a advanced step here. And what we're doing is we want to make sure that it goes in stages. So we might have stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Each thing needs to happen before the next one can be applied. But you need to be able to communicate that within your algorithm so it's not just randomly firing off. So you need to have gates. I call them gates. You saw me put it in the modified variable before. Because this is the cell side gate, we want the cell side gate to equal value of 0. So cell side is now at 0. And we want candle ID 1. Let's label these. Cell side gate. Equals 0. Perfect. So what rule do we need? We need to have we want the candle high, or we want the candle high to be broken away. So for example, we want a clean break here. Like we want price to come down all the way out, then come back and then reject it. If you just have like a big wick right here, I don't really like to say that's a strategy. So I want this high to be well below this line in order for that to be a valid trade. You can try either one for yourself if you want. If you want to change and manipulate it a little bit, there'll be 100 different kind of variations you can do. That's the best thing about these algos, is you can do it very quickly, and you can actually test what system works the best. And the way I want to do that is the candle high. So finding the candle high of 1 is below the value of the London low. So this candle high of 1 is below the London low. So that's like a breakout. So CID 1 CID 1 is below London low. So once that's been triggered, what I also like to do is visually see this, so we can draw an arrow. If that has happened, we draw an arrow. That step's now complete. So what happens when that step's complete? You have to close that gate off. So our cell gate then equals 1. So this is essentially finished. We can call this cell side breakout. Breakout. And I want to see this on the chart. So this arrow here, it'll draw an arrow once we actually break out. So let's jump over and see it in person. We press EX5. Let's have a look at this. Refresh. Now, due to the fact that we're only doing cell sides, it won't show when we have a high breakout. It has to break out during that time frame. Okay. You can probably barely see that, but this high here, it always does it on the candle after because this candle is being closed. So this high is below that London low. So we don't get false breakouts like this. We want that to be a true breakout. I might change the color of it so it's easier to see, and then I'll probably change where it is on the candle as well because we want to see crystal clear. We'll put it on candle close of 1, so it's on the previous candle. Top side, let's put it, anchor it on the bottom side, and let's make it lime green. It'll be solid. Okay, let's have another look at that one. Refresh. Let's slow this down a little bit. for the next one. There we go. Okay, you can just see that very faintly. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. So you can see very faintly there's a little arrow there. When I hover the mouse over it says find arrow. So we've got this range, our 1030 here. You can see this down below, 10 to 1030. We have that range. We have our breakout, our candle ID of 1. High is below that. So we've got a clear break below. Our green arrow is now signaling that. So let's build the retest now. So that's all working as it should be. I don't like that arrow though. I wonder if I can make it better with background. So now we have this section. We might as well build the buy side now, which is going to be the exact same. What I like to do is probably copy all of this and then we'll just like turn it around. So we have that, our sell side gate. So we want to have buy side. Our buy gate equals 0. Our buy gate is 1. And then we want the candle low, because it's the opposite of 1, is above the London high. Candle of 1. So we can edit this. Buy side gate. CID 1 above London high. Let me move me over here. So London high, we drew an arrow on there, and let's put this in an area. We can edit the description, which is buy side breakout. Cool. How cool. Let's test this again then. We just check it. I like to do this intermediately. When you build like a new section of your algorithm, you want to retest it to make sure that it's doing what you want it to do. If you just build the whole thing, you may get bugs in it. You may not click something correctly and it can bug out a little bit. So I will move me into down here. Let's move me up here. Actually, it'll be out well out of the way. We're zoomed in nice. Okay, perfect. So we have our range, that start, the end, we have a clear breakout. And when candle ID low of 1 is above that line, we then place an arrow. So that's correct. That's that candle that we were looking for. We also get a retest on this one, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we finished that. So the buy side is now working. The sell side is also now working. But now we add this extra step in. Because we now have our gates, we put a buy gate and a sell gate. If we don't reset our gate back to 0, we're going to have dramas in the future. So sell gate, buy gate, back to 0. It'll reset. So once per bar, we'll use this. We'll have a couple of condition blocks because we want to make sure that we found this value first, right? We want that breakout to happen first. If that's the case, we take the value of the gate, and that gate needs to equal 1 because we've equaled it down here, like buy gate equals 1. So buy gate equals 1, and we can do that for the sell gate also. Sell gate will also equal 1, and then we can relabel these. Gate equals 1. Perfect. Buy gate equals 1. Sell gate and buy gate, perfect. Now there's 2 new things that we need to go over. Based on what we have here and the version that we are going to create, we want a high test rejection. Okay, there's other versions where you can have a close in here, right? And then you want to close down below. You've got to code that in separately. Just for the sake of this example on this video, we aren't going to like make it really, really complex. We're not adding in all the sessions because we'll be here, like the video will just be like 2 hours long. And it's slower for me having to describe everything I'm doing to add in all these different variations. Just adds a little bit of complexity to it, but we could do that in the future. We can do like a full build out where it has like this entry method, this entry method, this entry method. If this candle is large enough, we can enter here, here, or here. So it's almost like adding in your own discretion. We can code all of that in. It's very simple. There's just a little bit more work involved. On video, this is already going to probably be an hour-long session. And if you're still here, that's awesome. I'd love to build that with you guys at a later date. Okay, so a couple of blocks now. We have our cell gate. This one's simple, right? We need this candle's high to be above the London low, but it also needs to close below that London low. So they're the next two blocks that we need to code in there. So candle for the sell side, the high of 1. So the candle high of 1 is above the value, which is the London low. London low. So candle high of 1 is above the London low. Yeah. CID 1 above London low. Yeah. We want the candle close of 1 is below that London low. So we've got that rejection. CID 1 is below London low. So this is really cool. Let's code in that other variation also, where we have the value. Let's go the candle close of 2 is above the value, which is the London low. So the close of 2 is above the London low. And why don't we also add in there that 1 candle close of 1 is below London low. It's above London low. So this is going to give that example of like what we mentioned before. I'm just going to build out both of them. I think that'd be cool. But what we can also add is that if this isn't true, like the London high of 1, if the London high of 1 is, if that's not true, then it can start searching for this. We can add a sell arrow then. So we'll just visually see how this looks on the chart before we do the buy side and make sure that everything is working as it should. Okay, we have that arrow. We have that arrow. Perfect. Do we retest? No. Let's find another example quickly. We haven't broke out. We didn't break out. There's no gap here. High and low breakout. We're getting a lot of bullish buys. Oh, man. Break out to the south side. Oh, it didn't do it within that time frame. You know what I mean? We have it here, but we need to break out in the first few minutes for it to be valid because we want that quick move. Okay, we're having an issue here because this is it. We have a clear breakout, but we're not getting those triggers. Let's per bar. So sell gate equals 1. Modify variable our buy gate and sell gate equal 1. We should be drawing an arrow. This is another way I just like to test it, just because if we're getting errors, we want to know where they are. Oh, that makes sense. We were using the wrong one. I'm going to add this cell now anyway, so then we have an idea of what's happening. I'm going to put me back down here. Well, up here. Let's go up here. We're getting that arrow. That looks good. Okay, so we're getting that arrow here. Okay, we have an example here. So we have a breakout here, and because we've given it that time to come back in, we have this entry here. So price goes up, price comes back down, and we get that entry sell on this candle here. Our stop, this is just a generic buy sell now block. And it hits profit. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. We're getting more examples now that are really cool. So if I can zoom in and show you guys. So we have our start time, end time, high and low. We have a clean breakout. So none of these are real breakouts. You know what I mean? That suit our rules. This, because the high still is tagging in, it's not counted. We can code that in also if you really wanted to. This is the first breakout where the high doesn't actually hit that point. We've got that arrow. Do we retest? Yes, we do. So we retest up, close below. So once we have that wick up in there and then we close below, that's our entry method. So we can either have at full retrace or just wick the high to show that rejection. Oh, here we go. First bug. Because we haven't put a max trade per day, we are now getting several entries. So we got an entry here, here, here. See, we have an entry, like all of these also suit that rule. And they all hit take profit, but that's besides the point. So that's our first error. But what we do know, what this tells us is it definitely works. I like to just put that in there to show that it works. Let's do the buy side now. That'll be really cool. Copy, paste. And it's going to be the opposite. And we still want to draw that arrow. And we'll also have to put in a modified variable. We also want to put in a modified variable at the end of this to change that gate once again. We want the London low above the London high. So we're just reversing all of it. The candle close of 1 is above that London high. CID 2 close is below the London high. But CID close of 1 is above the London high. Candle close of 2 is below London high. Candle close of 1 is above London high. So double check these. London high, London high, London low. Or close of 1, low of 1. So these should be different. So the high is above. Yep. So we need to change this to London low. London low is below the 1 and London close is above London high. Close of 1 is above the, so the low is below the high and candle close of 1 is above the high. Cool. Update, update, draw arrows. These should work. We will add that in. This is just going to change that gate. This is our sell side gate. S gate will then turn to 2. And just onto the final phase now. So buy gate then also turns to 2. Cool. Put this in an area. I should edit these also. London high. Cool. London high, London high. I'll fast forward this guy for you guys so you don't have to watch me do it. Was it this way or that way? Yeah. So that's the next stage is now complete. So we're getting there. So area 1, we find all our values. We find the breakout. We find the retest. Retest method. We also need to now add in our max trades. Trades per day needs to reset back to 0. So once per bar. Once per bar. Trades per day needs to equal 0. Correct. That is correct. Value our sell gate needs to equal value 2. Perfect. So once that is true, we can put our buy now section and sell now. We can actually put that once per tick. So it happens straight away. Once per tick, max trades, modified variable, and adjust our gates. Why not? So a sell gate will equal 3. Buy gate will equal 3. And our trades per day will equal 1. So we only take 1 trade per day. The gates are all closed. We fill in these sell now blocks. I'm going to use risk of balance on stop loss size. We risk 1%. We can add our risk per trade. Our stop loss size. What do we want to use? We can actually use the price. So custom price level. Why don't we use for sells, we'll use the London high. Stop loss and profit target will be 1-to-1. That looks pretty good to me. Our buy gate, depending on stop loss, we risk 1%, of course. Custom price level, we'll use the London low for the buy. 100, perfect. So let's run this through and see if it, oh, what does that do? No. We'll create an area, which is our execution. So we have to fill this in first, this in second, this then triggers a sell or buy, and we only take 1 trade per day, and then it'll reset, and then it just goes around in a circle continuously forever, finding these trades for us. Let's see how it looks. Okay, max trades per day. So we have our range. Where is our range? Here. Okay, we have our range, right? We can see these candles, the high here, the low here. We have a breakout, retest, and then that entry triggers right there. Our stop loss, you can see it vaguely here, is at the low, and we're just targeting a 1-to-1. Slow it down. We hit profit target and a cool $1,292. I like it. Do we get an entry? No, we don't. It was outside of that time frame. I can speed this up a little bit. No entry. See how it's just that same few candles. Do we get a retest? Nope, not within the time frame. Wait for the reset. Here we go. Entry, sell, and we took that for. Or did that hit Did that hit profit? Sell. That's an arrow, and that's a sell side. That says that was a win. So what happened here? Where's our entry? We actually don't get the lines. The lines are back here. Let's speed this up a little bit. Let's do a little bit of. So we are working correctly here. So we have the same thing. We have our range high, low, breakout, retest. This is that little reversal that I was talking about. So we wick down, enter on this next candle close, stop loss at the low. We take that for a -1R. No breakout. Oh, we've now completed it. So the build is working correctly. So now we've completed that build and you've built it with me. I'm unsure if we continue running this video. It's already so long. If we take you through the T. So far we've taken you through strategy idea, our yield logic. Now the next stage is to do a stress test, back test, and validate it over many, many years. This video for me has already taken a lot of time. I'm unsure if I should probably do part 2 or I should just do it in one really long video. I might go for a little bit more. We can do some basic back testing, and then we'll probably won't worry about T. It would probably take me 10 minutes to build this particular strategy in a real life setting of just hustling and working. If you want to learn more about the 6-step system method, I'll leave a link below that you can opt in and then get you'll get the 6-step system method guide, which goes through like all of the steps, how to run it. It's 8 pages long, so there's a lot of good info in there. If you want to check us out at NextGen Algo, make sure to join the community. If you want to be a part of a like-minded group of builders and developers, and you like how we do things, how we build things, and how we validate edges. If you like our results also, I'll leave the links to those down below also. Within NextGen Algo, you get the full kit and caboodle, okay? We don't leave anything out. We give you our back testing template. We give you our templates. There's tools, there's data, there's methodologies. There's so much information within there that I will take you from unprofitable to profitable within 90 days. And I guarantee that the full length of this video will be uploaded to the community members also. So I hope to see you in the community building with us. I really appreciate if you've watched it all the way to the end here. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you next month for our next monthly build. I'll see you then. So edge validation.